first thing you want to write down. So we're going to review factoring. When factoring a trinomial in the form x squared plus bx plus c, you are looking for two numbers that multiply to c and add to b. Anybody still writing that down? Okay, so again, I don't know how you guys factor. I'm not going to pretend I know how all of you factor because y'all came from different places. But I'm just going to give you a quick recap of what I've got. So if I look at A, I do the X method where I have my B up here and my C down here. This will be 6, this will be 9. And I'm trying to find what factors of 9 are going to add up to 6. That's going to be 3 and 3. So this is my factored form. So this will be x plus 3 times x plus 3. Or the one thing I really want you guys to do right now, bye Cass, is write it out as x plus 3 quantity squared. We're dealing with circles and we know the circle formula has those types of quantities, so we want to write it like that. All right, I'll do one more. So for B, again, 10, 25, what two factors of 25 add up to 10? That would be 5 and 5. So the answer for this is going to be x plus 5 quantity squared. All right, for our next one, we're going to have a negative 8 and we're going to have a 16. Now the question is, what two factors of 16 add up to a negative 8? That's going to be negative 4 and negative 4. So this is going to be x minus 4 quantity squared. I want you guys to handle the next three. Show of hands, who's still working on D through F? All right, let's check them out. So you should have had x plus 6 quantity squared, x minus 2 quantity squared, and x minus 8 quantity squared. Any questions on those three? Okie dokie, artichokes. Here's the next thing I want you to write down. So what pattern are you noticing with the problems above? How can we create our own trinomial of this type? So the number in parentheses is half the b. The c is half of b squared. So to find the square of an expression of the expression x squared plus bx, excuse me. Thank you. Add the square of half the b value. I'll give you a minute to write this down. All right, is anybody still writing this down? All right, let's talk about completing the square. All right, so looking at this first one, it says fill in the missing value by completing the square, then factor each trinomial. So if I take a look, I'm going to take this is my b value right here. I'm going to take 28 divided by 2. I'm going to square that. 28 divided by 2 is 14. 14 squared is 196. Now, here's your tip. I want to factor this. I can do the x method, but believe it or not, after completing the square, everything I need is actually here. This is just going to be x plus 14 quantity squared. And if you did whatever factoring method you'd have, it would be the same thing. All right, the next one, now we have a negative in here, and negatives are actually very important. So in this case, I'm going to have negative 7 over 2 quantity squared. This leaves me with pretty much 49 over 4, right? So that's what I'm going to put in here. But I need the factored form. That factored form is going to be x minus 7 over 2 quantity squared. Try the next two on your own. All right, who's still working on these two? All right, here it is. So again, this one was just x plus 7 quantity squared. 14 divided by 2 gives you what you need for the factor part, but you still need this part in here. This part, same thing. We have negative 13 over 2, 169 over 4, but again, that's the factored part, okay? Questions on that? Okay, this is something I do want you to add your notes right at the top on the next page. This will make more sense in a minute, but it says give yourself a blank line for the C values so you don't forget to add to both sides. Again, that'll make more sense in just a few minutes when we go over the next example, but I want you to write that down. All right. Questions on this? Anybody still writing this down? All right. Let's get into the example. It says, now apply the complete the square process to circle equations below to write the standard form of each circle below. Then find the center and radius for the given circle. All right. So again, what they mean by those spaces is your goal here is to group x's together and y's together. Okay. So if you look here, and if they're out of order, put them in order, like group x's, group y's. Okay. So I'm looking at this and I'm going to have x squared plus 4x, and I'm going to put a space. And then y's, I just have y squared, but I'm still going to put plus a space there just to kind of remain consistent, okay? And this is going to equal 12 plus space plus a space, because whatever we add to one side of the equation, you got to add to the other, okay? Now, our goal is to complete the square for x and then complete the square for the y's, okay? So this means that I am taking 4 divided by 2. I'm squaring that. This leaves me with 2 squared, which gives me 4. I'm going to add 4 there and then 4 on the other side. Now, y doesn't have a b value, so there's nothing I'm really adding in. I can just add in 0. However, for my x's, I do have a factored form here. Who can tell me what that factored form is? X plus what? 2. This is x plus 2 quantity squared. Now, again, nothing with the y, so I'm just going to put y squared. And this equals 12 plus 4, which is 16. Since that is the case, I can find my center. My center is going to be negative 2, 0. And my radius is going to be 4. Does that make sense? The rule, because this is a circle equation, the rules still apply. Mm-hmm. Good question. Yeah, that rule still applies, guys, because it's not the standard form, right? Any other questions? Okay, I'm going to have to clear this because this kind of went over into my space. So is anybody still writing before I erase? Okay. All right, now this one, remember, if they're kind of out of order, make sure you put them in order, okay? So I don't have anything to really add here except the fact that I am going to add this 11 to both sides. One thing you do not want are any of the constants, okay? You want to get all the constant on one side and then all the variables on the other. Now I'm going to group them up. So here I'm going to have x squared minus 6x plus, again, some value we're going to find, plus y squared plus 8y plus, again, some value. And I'm going to set that equal to 11 plus those two values. So now we complete the square. This will be negative 6 over 2 squared, which leaves me with negative 3 squared, which is 9. So I'm adding 9 to both sides. And then for my y's, I'm going to have 8 divided by 2 squared, which leaves me with 4 squared, which leaves me with 16. So again, I have everything I need right here and right here for that factored form. So here I'm going to have x minus 3 squared plus, oops, I forgot something. You guys didn't catch me. Forgot to add the 16 over here. Plus x plus 4 squared equals, 11 plus 9 is 20, plus 16, that's 36. Now someone tell me, what's the center? Emma? Very good. And what's the radius? Someone new? Shane? 6. All right, try this next one on your own. Did someone say, oh, rat? Oh. I was going to say, I thought Delta Mouth was okay, but. Unless it's Remy, I don't like rats. Show of hands, who's still working on this one? Ready to see it? How did we do? Questions? Nothing? Easy peasy lemon squeezy? Okay, that's it. Work on your homework or work on your projects. Those you watching home, have a great day.